I'm Emily.
And I'm Eric.
Welcome back to You Should Thank Me, a podcast about a married couple in our 40s living in Ontario with their 2 dogs and some stories to talk about.
Get ready for a sports-filled episode, from childhood sports memories to the current playoff action.
Wow, you truly read that verbatim.
I did, yeah.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
Sports podcast.
Yeah, this is like your dream episode / You could have been like a, what was it, color commentator? Is that the correct terminology?
I think I've proven I couldn't be in the first 30 seconds, but sure, yeah. It would have been a cool job for sure.
I didn't say you'd be good at it. I said it was your dream job, so let's...
I would have been kicked off, I think. I get too mad at sports today.
That is true. So are you going to get like fired up this episode or what?
No, not really. I think I'm pretty... I don't know. I don't have too much dogs in the race when it comes to playoffs right now. So yeah. So this week, caught any playoff games?
Yeah. Well, why don't we first talk about like how our weeks were, or how was your week?
Oh,
just generally speaking.
You start.
Okay.
I can't remember.
You don't know what you did?
I don't remember.
Well, I went to like a book fair, like a nerd.
I was gonna say that.
Oh.
I was gonna say nerd.
I beat you to it. So I know what you're thinking. On Saturday, so that was fun. Maybe we'll get into this a little bit later, but I did start a new beach volleyball season.
Yep.
So that was also an experience we can get into maybe like once we kind of talk through some of our childhood like sports memories or like what we played. But yeah, so my week was good. Had a little bit of athleticism and then a little bit of dorkiness, and I'm all set.
Yeah, just I don't know, just worked. Played a poker tourney. Mm-hmm. Did all right, but didn't win $1 million or anything. But it's okay. Next time, eh? Yeah. Just things like that, like reinforce the backyard a little bit. I said maybe last week, but yeah, it's just been finding rocks, the best rocks in town, and then reinforcing the backyard, and then just making sure no little critters get in the yard, because they like to
leave little gifts for the dogs.
Yeah, we did talk about this. I'm so sorry that I repeat
that. Oh, it's okay. No. Well,
but, yeah.
It's kind of that time of year, right, where it's like every day the backyard kind of needs a little bit of like some type of like tending to.
Yeah, and I live such a boring life. Like, I don't want to talk about poker, but I also want to talk about like computers.
You don't want to?
Well, like, what'd you do this week? I worked and played poker. That's it. Yeah. So, but out of that, yeah, just did that. Flipped the tires to summer tires.
Yeah.
Which is nice. That's kind of like the groundhog seeing his own shadow kind of thing. Like when that happens, when I do that means spring is here.
Okay, that's your initial.
Yeah, that's
time mark.
You can take it. Yeah, exactly.
What? Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm just.
I can't think of the milestone. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I don't know.
Yeah, so that was my week.
Nice. Yeah, mine was good. But yeah, definitely a lot of sports playoffs that are happening right now. Obviously, maybe it's not obvious, but you're definitely into it more than I am.
Yeah.
I would say I tend to come in on the tail end of series if it's like the potential match winning or series winning, I should say, game.
I think they call it a fair weathered fan.
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't bother me. I don't love a team that much to be that fully committed and watch like 3 hours of hockey for one team like every other night or every third night. I don't know. I can't do it.
Well, I don't love a lot of teams. I enjoy the sport. And like
what sport?
Well, yeah.
Sports.
The example I was going to give was like last night us watching a double overtime game. Like that was like obviously the overtime got slow, but that last like minute in the third was just like, whoa, like it got wild real quick. So like, I like good sports like hockey. Obviously I watch a lot of basketball, watch a bit of baseball. I stay away from baseball because of the fact that Toronto sucks. And you're not going to, no one will ever argue that point. But if someone does, if they,
What do you mean no one will ever? You mean
I
all
think-
their fans?
yeah,
will?
people, even some of my friends, like before the season, like, oh, we're gonna do good this year. I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first off, I don't see either of us playing for the team. And like, but like, yeah, just like people actually have this like weird belief that they would do good, and I'm like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
We either have good bats or good pitching, and that's still the problem this year. You know what I mean? We need both. But
Mhm.
so I don't watch. I guess what I'm saying is I don't watch baseball until a certain point, and that point is June. When June comes, and if Toronto's first, then I watch baseball. If they're not first, I skip it.
I forget, when is the World Series?
World Series is in late October or
Oh.
November, but yeah, because 162 games. But in June, if Toronto is like in the hunt, then I'm like, okay, they're legit.
But even if June seems really early on in the season, though.
Well,
Like,
June,
have they really made any sort of mark?
they've generally went against their division like once,
Gotcha.
and like sometimes like Boston or New York twice. So then
Oh, okay.
if
so
they've
they
done
are
well against
kind
them,
of-
then I'm like, okay.
Okay, I gotcha.
But there's this thing, even at the start of the season, I think the first 12 games they had 9 wins and they looked good, but I'm like, no.
Mm.
There's a method to this madness. They always look good for 9 games.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's how I feel about baseball. But hockey, I probably watch way more women's hockey now than
Mhm.
men's hockey, or the Four Nations was amazing. I'll
Yeah,
watch
That
that.
was amazing. It kind of sucks though with the like PWHL is that they stopped playing it or streaming it on YouTube. So that's
Killed
like really annoying.
I don't watch it anymore now. It sucks. It's just, you know what it is? It's not that I don't like that. I'm boycotting them. It's actually a good thing they're off YouTube. It means they actually have a TV deal.
Yeah, totally.
It's just not in sight, not in mind. If they honestly had like a YouTube channel to say, hey, reminder, this game is on, and it would just have to be like a minute thing, and
Mhm.
it popped up.
Hmm.
I certainly wouldn't watch it on cable. I would find an alternate way to watch it, but I would watch it. But you're right. I used to watch it all the time, and to be honest, they got kind of replaced by the OHL for me this year. I watched a lot more OHL, but we
I was
can
like,
we
there's
can
so
certainly
many-
skip all of that.
There's so many different like tangents. I feel like we could go off.
Yeah.
Like even going back to so we don't have to talk about that, but going back to the Blue Jays. Wow, I kept wanting to say the Leafs. And I don't know if we want to talk about like the bet that we have going for. Is it the Sky Dome?
Oh yeah,
Our-
okay.
Our betting.
In my head, I'm like, I don't remember betting with you on baseball. We do have a bet, yeah.
We do.
So, and we did this last year. You know, like, it sounds like I'm a degenerate gambler doing this, but
And you play poker.
yeah, I swear, this is not a large amount of my payroll. I'm
It's
not
fun money.
degenerate. Yeah, it's funny money.
Mhm.
I swear I have a lot more investments than I have people to back me up. Yeah, so last year I found this bet where you could bet when the Sky Dome first opens, and we kind of like really thought it through.
Last year.
Yeah,
Originally. Yeah.
And we won it because we were like, it's gonna be cold until this day.
Yeah, and it was late.
It was
I think.
way easier last year. Yeah.
Yeah, but we bet late, right? Like we
Right.
bet the date would be late.
Yeah. So, but like
Mhm.
right now in that bet, there's either next week, which is what we did the bet,
Yeah.
or the late, where
The
it's just
late,
like
late.
anytime after this date.
Yeah.
And I still think we're really close. Like we got 3 shots on it next week. If mid-May is like, plus 20 in Toronto, it's all ours.
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
yeah, we do fun stuff like that. That's that's going to be the highlight of the Toronto Blue Jays for this year.
Like for the for the
The
dome.
bet.
Yeah,
It's the
because
bet.
we don't really have. I don't think we. I mean, I don't think I have any other bets that are with you
Yeah, you
for baseball.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah, obviously like for hockey
now
and stuff.
you're gonna admit you're betting. Well,
Oh well, it's through you.
it is through me. Florida Panthers. You bet at the start of this year that they would be the Stanley Cup champs.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Well,
Right?
it's,
Is it 2?
it would be 2 years ago if they win, but it wasn't like 2 years ago. You're like, I think
Well, no.
Florida's going to
obviously
win
not.
and a second cup.
Mhm.
That would have been wild. I would have been like,
Yeah.
can you tell me some stock trades?
Yeah, and then I bet, and I forget who I bet for PWHL to win. Was it Boston?
I forget.
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
I think you lost that one. You bet the Elena Mueller Swiss girl was going to be MVP,
Mhm.
and she is not.
Mhm.
And I bet Tyler Henke or whatever. She's
Mhm.
really good.
Mhm.
It's going to be MVP. She was hurt half the year, so both of
So
us
it
are
wasn't
going to
our
lose.
it wasn't our best betting section or whatever the word is. I don't know what
No.
the word is.
Yeah, we just
Go. It's all
do
like
dorky
say.
stuff.
It's all fun.
Yeah, we only put like $5,000 on it.
Yeah, right. Cool. So yeah, I think that's, and then there's basketball playoffs right now too, like you said.
Yeah.
So there's hockey and basketball.
And women's hockey is going to actually go in the playoffs pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching. Even though I said I'm not watching, I am kind of watching. WNBA though, mid month. I actually was looking at stuff on that to find when Indiana is going to be coming to Toronto.
Oh.
Caitlin Clark
Yeah, I know.
to the Toronto Tempo.
Yes.
Okay.
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 Yeah, am I getting a weird?
Guess what? We watch a lot of sports in this house. We as in me.
Yeah, I was like, well, you do. Well, it just makes me think, though, too, when going back to the PWHL a bit, like how I think both you and one of my best friends, the hope was to get tickets to one of the games, like 2025 season for like my birthday back in January, but they like sold out really quick. So yeah, to your point earlier, like obviously they're doing really well and they're like selling out like in Toronto, and I don't know if they're selling out everywhere, but
No.
definitely like in Toronto. But yeah, it's
It was easy to get
so
tickets.
exciting.
It was easy to get tickets in Ottawa and Boston, New York. But Ottawa, I knew a couple people that were going to those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even, I don't know if this is like a good segue to talk about like childhood sports, but like I did for a little bit grow up playing hockey, so it's always so nice to see like actually like a professional women's like hockey league. I mean, my middle sister, who is a couple years older than me, she started playing hockey obviously before I did, but there wasn't even like a girls or like, and she was a girl. Like, she wasn't even like a woman, and there wasn't even a change room for like the female like gender. It's just, I think she used to get changed in like the boiler room. Like just how far it's come. It's just like it's so incredible, and you know, I mean, I don't think this is 100% true, but it's interesting. I'm like, oh, if I was born like 20 years later, I
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah.
My sister probably, not me, but
It's
to get into the league, she would have.
And I think, honestly, if I changed in the boiler room, I would be calling myself Freddy Krueger. I've been pretty ticked off about it when I get on the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I come from a pretty small area, and my family was not into sports. And I wonder, I'm not like terribly athletic, but I wonder if if I had family that kind of really pushed that, like if I would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have, but it was just something I kind of had to take on my own and go ahead with it. And it's not like they weren't supportive; they were my parents were.
Yeah.
But my brother and sister, like my sister does some athleticism stuff. Like I remember back she was doing tap dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Brother not so much,
Mm-hmm.
but my sister was doing. When we got older, like she's a lot more active, does half marathons, or at least I think she's training for one right now.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, like, just wasn't a thing in my family. So I always wonder, if I was born somewhere else, like if I would have had more of an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And, but
But you were playing baseball and basketball, basically, right?
baseball really, basketball, it's even worse for basketball because I literally probably didn't pick up a basketball seriously until like grade 8.
Yeah, so they're like 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you might think that's like, oh, well, okay, like you didn't have to start when you're 6, but like I didn't know how to do a layup when I was 13. And that's like something where you should learn in grade 4.
True. Yeah, like building upon those skills, right?
Yeah. So I play basketball. I'm awful at it, but I love it. It's such a fun sport for me. While baseball, like, I'm competent now,
Mm-hmm.
but I hate playing it because it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least do you take any solace that you're better at basketball than me, or no?
Well,
It's not really.
So
apples to apples.
I see that's a question on here about like who's more competitive. We're gonna get into if you want to get into the mud, let's get into it because like Yeah, okay, you're good at a bunch of stuff that like has hand-eye coordination, but anything that has any form of like I have to go against you, I'm gonna rock you at.
So you mean physical
Yeah, any
force?
physical force, and you know it. It's just like even in hockey, if I got on skates and putted around with like like the stick holding me up, I think I could probably kick your butt.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You have to have, once again, we're going back to the base of having some skill level. Like, you wouldn't be able to catch me.
Yeah, how are you gonna take the
On
puck away from
skates.
me?
Lift up your stick?
Yeah,
Like,
you think
then
so?
you'll fall?
Yeah, you think so?
You
I
just
got,
said.
got one hand on you, pushing you away. Yeah.
Well, we're not playing prison rules. You still have to be.
Well, you got to take the puck from me.
Yeah.
Especially, and it's only on skates. Like if we get on to, if we were on cement, like it's not like you'd ever played floor hockey or anything like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So I think too, most of the sports that I do play are not really physical contact, I guess. I don't know.
Well, like
But they are hand-eye coordination.
yes, like your volleyball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I used to do yoga and stuff, which isn't really. It's not really a sport. Yeah,
but
it's not a sport. But
it's like a training thing, like a training regimen.
But hockey, obviously, is like a physical thing. But that eventually changed. Like I used to play co-ed. Well, I did both.
Yeah. Didn't you get kicked out of the league for stabbing someone with your skate or something?
And that's a dramatization.
You want to go into detail about?
Can I clear this up for the record? I mean, I can think of a couple situations in hockey. I definitely, for whatever reason, I sort of, whenever I got on that ice, I was like a different person, and I was aggressive, probably because I sucked. So I had to, make it up in brute. But no, the time that you're talking about it was a tournament. It wasn't a league, so it was a tournament. And somebody was like giving me guff for just being a jerk, and so I think I punched them, and then I ended up getting kicked out of the tournament. And then there was another time where when I was just normally like playing in the league, and once again kind of just like this one girl, we weren't really getting along, and I swear I didn't mean to, but we were sort of like skating by each other, like sort of like in opposite directions. And I was purposefully aiming for her, and I ran into her, and she ended up breaking her leg.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah,
And she still can't walk.
I don't know. Who knows?
And you could tell like you're out of hockey because you've been like, well, yeah, this rat was chirping me, so I filled her face. Like you could have said it like that, like a hockey player, but you didn't. You're away from it too far.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played, I don't think, since college. I think it was like probably the last time that I played, which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably like 15 years ago, maybe. But I still have all my hockey equipment, which is probably like moldy in our basement. So
I should put it on one time and see if I can fit in it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we've used my skates.
Yes.
Like you have your own skates too, but so I've used my skates, but I haven't actually put on any of the equipment.
And I got a nice twig. I got a twig in the basement.
What's that?
The stick.
Oh. I was like, a twig?
I love that you don't know the terminology anymore. No. It's ridiculous. Even I don't even understand how it, anyways. But yeah, hey, that's hockey for you.
Yeah.
It's a serious sport.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think it's cool though you got to play on the same team as your sister.
Yeah, that was definitely eventually when I caught up to the league that she was in, where it was whatever it was, 16 plus or 14 plus or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually able to play on the same team, and a lot of the time I would say on the same line. So my sister was center and then I was left.
Cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. So
I will say, my sister had a workplace tournament. And she did invite me to play a game, so I have played a baseball game with my sister.
Yeah. I were going to say hockey. I was so confused for a second.
No. Oh, God.
I was like, what?
Imagine that line. This is the not skating line.
Well, her daughters are great skaters, so it's not that outlandish.
Yeah, supposedly I think one of them won an award recently in the area, which is good for them.
I think actually they both did.
Yeah, one for participation probably.
No.
Yeah. The one that, anyways. Yeah, so we did play a game. I remember her being ahead of me in the order,
Mm.
and I remember she got on base. Like, I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was right behind her, and I like hit a trip. I had a home run actually, and I had caught up to her at my second base, and it was almost a big problem there. I'd be like, "Let's go,"
Mhm.
you know.
Not to supersede you, but I also played on a baseball team with my mom and my sister.
And
Me.
did your mom get hurt?
No, that was soccer.
Oh yeah.
That's how she was in the first game, I think her first shift, and she went out and she
Like
messed
that-
up her knee really bad and had to get surgery. Like she was done. She's
Yeah.
never gone back.
It's one
Oh,
of some
gosh.
soccer balls in the air. I played
Yeah.
soccer in high school for
Yeah.
a year.
I played growing up.
I'm glad it's like more popular now, but I don't know, man.
I think it was popular. It probably wasn't where you were.
It's more popular now though. Like we can agree to that, but I don't
Like,
think it was
For school kids to play it, or like in the
Just
world of sports.
in the world of Canada. Like it was not popular 15 years ago as it was now. Like it just wasn't. And like
But what
to
about
your
like
point,
what about like Umbro and stuff? I feel like that was like the epitome of like
yeah,
soccer.
we don't live in the United Kingdom though. That wasn't around everywhere. Umbro was like, I think Tommy Hilfiger was still killing Umbro and like No Fear. And why are we talking about clothes like that?
I don't know. I just remember that. I just remember those like shorts and like the Adidas tearaways and stuff being like synonymous with like soccer.
Yeah, well,
That's where my tangent went.
I guess we agree to disagree on soccer, I guess.
Hmm. But you played in like on the high school team,
I
or
did,
you were?
yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Was it? We were okay, but like I come from a small school, and then you go into the city and you generally get blasted, right?
Yeah.
So wasn't too many sports my school was good at,
Mm.
and volleyball, like we would win the Ontario one for girls all the time, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, but sports injuries. What's our worst sports injuries?
Mine was probably from hockey, but it was kind of like a slow burn injury, where I was playing in college, like co-ed, not that that matters, but, and I just remember like going down on the ice and like my knee kind of like stayed in place in like my shin pad, but then when I turned to get up, it kind of like stayed centered. So I basically like pulled my knee. I know it's really bad way.
No,
Probably
but
didn't explain it well, but
no, that makes sense.
and so it definitely like bothered me that game, and then I think over time it just continued, like got worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse, very gradually, and then eventually like I'm not going to get into this story, but there was like an incident at work when I used to live and work in Toronto, and it was kind of like the beginning where like I needed knee surgery after that. So it's like that was the start of it, and it wasn't until 5 years later that I actually had to get like knee surgery on my knee. So I would say like it wasn't like big scary injury,
Right.
but I don't know. Maybe I can think of another big injury, but
A few years back, I pulled my groin, and what an annoying injury. Like it's not bad, but then like you can't really move because it gets really bad and stays around forever. Holy man, that one comes to mind. I think I find injuries for me are worse as the older I've gotten. When I was younger, I would get injured, but like it would be like for a day. I remember I also I rolled my foot so badly that I actually went to a foot doctor and they're like, hey man, you need to like do something with your shoes because you roll your foot again like this, you're gonna need surgery on it. I just had my foot and it was purple for like a week and hurt for months. So there kind of, I was like my 30s when all these happened, but I can't remember. Nothing really happened.
I forget what happened to your knee.
Oh, but that's not from sports.
What was that? I forget.
I fell on a spike.
Oh.
It kind of ruined my baseball season, which just sucks. I was on a trash team, but like I was like having the year of my life, and then I rip open my knee.
Yeah.
But no, that wasn't a sports related one. I was going to go get smelts fishing. I was a fishing injury.
Incident.
Yeah, fishing injury.
Okay.
Fishing's kind of a sport, I guess. Like, only the bored people really call it a sport because who wants to watch two men fish or women fish?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's for the observer. I think it's for the. It's not for the observer though. It's for the people doing it.
It's on TV, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, what was that guy?
Mizuki
or something.
I always think David Suzuki.
I know, but it was something like that. Yeah. I remember him being on TV all the time.
And there's like, honestly, there's a YouTube meme where it's a dude in Alabama fishing, and all of this funniest stuff happens. Like he has a camera guy that takes pictures, and he has a camera, and you see the camera guy fall in the water. And he's like doing an interview and like on the dock, and his dog jumps in and ruins the whole shot. Like jumps in the water bottom. He's like, "God dang!"
I feel like I've seen those.
It's so good. Yeah. It only took like 30 years of fishing content to make the best fishing content. But that's worth watching tonight. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Other sports injuries, like I've only have fallen off a horse like very few times.
The animal or?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I fell off one time onto a fence, like a fence to like jump, like that you're jumping over, not a paddock fence. But it wasn't a far fall because it was just like our little pony Molly that I was riding.
Didn't you fall off one recently?
I did, yes. Oh my god. That was embarrassing.
Yeah. But you forgot that one, eh?
I tried to block it out of my mind. Thanks for bringing it back up.
No problem.
Yeah, no, that was like, I think that was almost like actually 2 years ago now. And it's just so funny when you're riding. When I'm riding now, it's like, I mean, when you're young and you're riding, and when you're like 10 years old and you're riding, you don't really have like this like understanding of like the older people, but it's like now I am the older people, and it's so bizarre. Like now when I don't go to the barn right now, but when I did go riding then, it's just so weird to be like, oh my god, like I'm the old person now, and there's all these like little cute 13-year-old girls like running around and like tacking up their horses. It's just so sweet. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of any other. Thankfully, I mean, I'm glad I don't really have any other sports injuries, but.
What about glory and heartbreak of sports? Have you ever had glory? Because like you don't talk about a lot of W's. Like not to say that I'm sure you won a bunch of stuff. Maybe you haven't. I don't see a lot of your trophies or anything, but so.
It's because I don't want to shame you, so I hide them all. Inadvertently.
That was the answer I was looking for.
No, I mean, I definitely, when I was riding on the same topic, like when I did horseback ride, like I did pretty good, like definitely had some ribbons and certainly placed mainly in show jumping and like eventing. So that was fun. But then in hockey too, I would say that, I think maybe 1 or 2 years, I was selected for like the all-star team. So that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and actually that could have been one of the tournaments I got kicked out of. So yeah, but I'm just trying to think. I don't think there was any, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's all like when you're young, right? But when I was in grade 8, I won like the most athletic award.
Well, you did say that, yeah.
Which was, that's all I was gunning for in grade 8 was to get that. So I played literally every sport that was like offered by the school I played. But yeah, I don't know. To your point, and on the flip side, I don't really remember a lot of like heartbreak where it's like, oh my god, I'm so sad that we didn't win this tournament or this game. The only thing that I can remember being heartbroken about is for volleyball. I think I was in grade 9 or 10, and myself and my best friend, we went both and a few other girls from the high school. We went and we tried out for like the cities league, instead of like your high school league, obviously like your city leagues all combined. And I didn't make it. And I do remember because I loved it. So I do remember being definitely like heartbroken that I hadn't made the team, but yeah, it is what it is, right? I mean, it seems like a big deal then, but now I'm just like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
What about you?
I never really won anything outside of baseball. I was part of a lot of losing teams too, which actually was a really good thing because like you kind of know really soon. Like I don't think you know right away if your team's any good or not. Like you kind of get a
Mm.
vibe and like if you can kind of rally. And I've been
Mhm.
on a few teams where like we were good, but we didn't know if we were the winners, and then we rallied and we won. But I guess to actually answer the question, the first year of baseball, we lost every game, and
Mhm.
like I was always gutted after every loss. And I remember my mom would tell me I would come off like they had mercy rules, so I'd give up like 5 or 6 runs and then even I'd get mercied off, and I'd come in
Oh.
and I'd throw my glove to the ground. I'd just be so over it.
Yeah.
And my mom used to give me heck about my attitude, and I don't blame her because like it's hard, right? Because you're young, and
Mm.
I've never been in competitive sports until that moment. I didn't really know
Mm.
how to compose myself,
Yeah.
and then like I got so lucky because they finally started putting. We had a bigger town where we would all compete, but they put a bunch of the smaller towns together, including mine.
Mhm.
And it was like 6 guys, including me, that were just like the same dudes every year. For 3 years,
Mm.
we won.
Mm.
And being around these older guys, certainly I still would have my like blow ups, but I really got to learn how to win and be a winner.
Mm.
And like I was a lot, I kind of, when I would get angry about something, I would try to like, annoy the other team with it, opposed to like make it eat up myself. So,
Mm.
so the baseball stuff really was like awesome. I loved it. I still,
Mhm.
my mom brings up to this day. It's such, it's weird because like, I'm still pretty competitive, but like I don't care if I lose. Like I
Mhm.
care if what I hate is like being around people who are wasting my time.
Yeah, or don't try.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
and there's a difference between not having it and not trying it. Like if someone's not good but they try, I'm cool. But if
Mhm.
someone's just not trying or don't care, then let me get someone from the crowd. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like hugely competitive, so anyone can play your spot. But it's just like then don't be on the.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, I'm not here to waste my time. I'd like to try to win, but
Yeah.
and if I don't win, I'm not gonna cry about it.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean?
You're
Like,
realistic about it.
yeah, like so I can be a little bit of a curmudgeon, I guess.
Yeah.
But so I kind of I started losing and then I won, and that's kind of
Mm.
how I liked it. So there's never was really a moment where I was like heartbroken,
Mm.
but there's certainly moments where I like pulled through or my team pulled through. Even after that 3 year run, I went and played in the city, and we won
Mhm.
the first year I was in there too. And I remember it was really hard, right? Because these guys were much more complete players than I was. So it took me most of the year to even become like really competent. And I remember on the last game, like I, I've also never get pressurized. I'm almost
That's
pretty
good.
low pressure.
Like you're calm under pressure, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I'm pretty sure I went 3 for 3 in that game. And I remember we were down, and I had 2 guys on base, and the guy was a knuckleball thrower. And in my head, I'm like, that's the worst pitch you want to throw at me because I'm just gonna jack it. And I
Mm.
remember I hit a triple, and we didn't look back. We won that game.
Mm.
So that stuff, yeah, big moments like it.
Mhm.
And in basketball, we used to lose all the time too. But it was fun because it's so interesting, that basketball team. Like there's only 7 of us, so we all played a lot of minutes,
Oh.
except me. But like the that was
How
a
is there only
team.
7 of
It started with 9, and people kept getting hurt.
How many people are on the court?
5 for
Oh.
basketball.
Okay.
Basketball.
Oh, there's more.
But that was a team of like people who wanted to win, and we
Mhm.
just didn't make it. But like it was always like a one basket game,
Mhm.
and I love that team. Like we lost a lot, but I love that team to this. If I see any of those guys, and I remember I ran into one like randomly at a casino up north.
Mhm.
It is like I don't know. We just have a lot of like love for each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool.
So that was my 10 minute.
No, it's all good. So what sports are you playing now? Baseball?
Yeah,
Soon.
for a lawyer league there. It's nothing too serious, but it's fun.
Not that you're a lawyer.
No, you always want to hang out with lawyers that can help you out. No, that team's fun, and it's like it's funny how I made this whole thing about like trying hard. Like there's a bunch of people that like are fun on that team, and it's pretty good. I have a good time there.
Yeah, and I think, and it's only normally for the summer, right?
Yeah.
Like June, maybe even July and August for sure. Maybe even June.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
I reached out actually yesterday, and they're like,
nice.
"Oh yeah, I'll get the schedule to you soon."
Oh, nice. That's good.
That's it. We've talked about basketball. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I just like to pick it up and throw it around. And unless I play it really like a few, like 3 or 4 times a week, I'm pretty awful at it. And so it's one of those things where it's like I'm always scared to kind of get back into it because I'm awful.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've offered, or if you asked me to like throw a ball around, I'd say yes.
Well, even in baseball, like I remember the one year, I'm like, we need to practice. I suck.
Yeah. Where did we practice, in the yard?
No, we went up to the park. Yeah,
and
and shagged a couple balls.
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah. I was still awful that year, but I was happy I did it. Last year was like my best year like for a while. Like I thought I had a great year last year.
Gotta warm up the arms.
Yeah. It's my legs. They get a little bit cold.
Oh, your legs?
They're getting slow.
Oh, for me it'd be it'd be like throwing. Throwing for me is, I mean, I'm pretty good at it, but I feel like that's where I'd become sore if I was like constantly throwing it. But I don't know.
I'd love for you to play.
Oh, I'm not playing in the team.
You should.
I should. I'd be good.
Yeah.
I am good.
Yeah, I would love it. What about you? You're just playing some stuff?
Some stuff.
What are you playing? You playing anything exciting?
What's with that smirk on your face?
I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, I started a new beach volleyball league last week. So, it's beach fours, which is great in the sense that it's obviously much faster pace. I was just finding with like the sixes when I played last year was just like slow, and I just felt like you were kind of just sort of standing there, even though it's supposed to be like an intermediate league for both the sixes and the fours. But this week of the first week of doing this new league or trying this new league or team rather, was interesting. It truly is when someone signs up for a league and you have to like rate what your skill level is. It really is like an honor system, and and some people aren't honest.
Yeah.
And what happens is if you sign up as a quote unquote free agent, they'll put you in like a mishmash of a team.
Yeah. And
then you're just playing with whoever happens to also be a free agent. And so, yeah, one of the members on my team is certainly not what I would qualify or quantify as up to snuff in terms of being able to successfully play on a fours beach court.
And an intermediate level.
Intermediate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will not lie, it was extremely frustrating.
Yeah. You were pretty ticked.
Yeah, and yeah, it's certainly not what I feel like I signed up for.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing that, somebody, whether they're, I don't know what the word, if they have like, rose-colored glasses and they just don't see what their skill level is, but yeah, I don't know. Well, and the thing too, though, which is maybe not like 100% of the true picture, but there's beach fours, but unfortunately one of our teammates couldn't make it, so we were actually beach threes. So it added an extra layer of like obviously difficulty, but so hopefully this week might be a little better if the fourth person actually shows up. So I'll keep everybody posted on that, but we'll just say I'm not happy.
Are you gonna go up to the guy and say, "Hey, you know who you are? Look in the mirror. You're a novice at best."
Or at least play sixes, right? Like at least.
So it's sixes problem, intermediate level.
What do you mean?
Maybe it should be sixes novice level.
Potentially, even I would even give them maybe that little credit of like be a little bit nice and be like, maybe you should be sixes intermediate.
Just be like, hey, truth hurts, bud.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
And I'm the only girl on the team, which is fine, but like. Yeah, I mean, I certainly stepped it up, but like, it's just My other thing too is, to your point earlier, like I don't want to hurt myself. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like I find it fun. I've always loved volleyball. I have literally played since I was like 11 or 12. Like I've consistently played it pretty much I've maybe missed out of those last 30 years or whatever, like 4 seasons or something, or like 4 years. So it's
Right.
always been part of my life. I've always loved it. I've always been pretty competitive at it. So it's just like really sad and disappointing when you're so excited for like this team and like hopeful and then it just kind of all goes to shit.
Well,
So we'll see what week 2 is like. Hopefully it's better. If you can.
sounds like
I know,
it sounds like it
I'm
doesn't have,
hopeful.
yeah, it doesn't have to be that much. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Keep us up to date.
I will. So, doing that, and I was doing a little bit of yoga before, but I'm also thinking of joining like the local tennis club, but I don't know. I mean, it's certainly kind of still early on in the season. I think that their like open house or whatever, or their like opening welcome party is like the end of May. So definitely still have some time to kind of decide that. And I think you can also join whenever you want throughout the year. But yeah, so that's kind of maybe like on the docket. And other than that, I just walk a lot.
Yeah. Walking's a sport.
A
A little bit, yeah. I've seen it in the Olympics.
That's speed walking, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just walking at a higher speed.
That's true. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm up to right now. But yeah, is there any random sports that you've ever indulged in?
I was in the chess club.
Ah,
Is
that a sport?
I think chess is a sport. Yeah, I think so.
Are all games sports? I feel like we've had this.
Yeah,
I feel like we've
so
had
this could
a
be
long time ago.
this should be a part 2 in the fun thing, because like you can get into some. We certainly have this discussion now. So let's get to the random question here.
Okay, sorry.
So my random question is actually, technically you told me this question, so it's actually your random question.
Oh.
But, yeah. What small hill would you die on? You're going to have to explain this a bit too, because you know how there's like, well, I'll explain.
Yeah.
You know how like there's hills that you would die on, like in the sense of like, hey, like, I can't think of a good one.
Of a big hill to die on?
Like a big, well, like a hill you'll die on, right? Like I'll never wear white on Labor Day or something like that.
Yeah. No. Or socks with sandals.
Yeah, socks with sandals. That's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to meet that person, but either way. But like, what's the smallest hill you'll die on?
I know we talked about this.
Yeah, say it again.
I forget what I said.
I forget mine too, so that's why this works, because we both forget the ones.
Well, one of them was like having like pineapple on pizza, which I'm not saying that we talked about it. Like some of these things that we talked about that people certainly die on that hill.
No, I remember mine.
Okay.
Remember I said to you, I'll always die on the small hill that I need half a tank of gas at all times, especially in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
For the idea that like if I drive anywhere, if I have over half a tank of gas, I'm fine, but under a tank of gas, I need to go fill it up.
Yeah.
In the winter, I believe my dad always says that gasoline condensates if there's not enough there, and then makes your gas a bit watery, and then that burns it quicker. So always have more than half a tank. I don't know how. Don't Google that, but that is my father told me that. And
you're sticking to it.
And not only that, like that guy's never wrong. Okay, like if he's wrong in this, fair enough. But I believe we call him Safety Dan for a reason. He knows what he's talking about, and that is a small hill that I die on, and you know it. And I think it's a bit weird. But it's because I get nervous under half a tank when I'm driving. Like, oh man, I can only go 200 more kilometers. What am I gonna do? And what I mean, I get it. It's ridiculous, but it's what I am.
Yeah, I don't remember what mine was, to be honest. I remember some of the other things that kind of like other topics, like being like superstitious, like about like numbers. Like, I don't know if that's like a hill. Like I don't know if that's necessarily a small hill to die on, where it's like, oh, if I see about like the same numbers, consistently in a row in different places, then I like literally look up to be like, what is the meaning when I keep seeing the number 7 everywhere or whatever? I don't know if that's like a small hill, but or more of just like a belief system.
Yeah.
Or superstition.
Or a little station.
Yeah. But I don't know, maybe I'll get back to you next week on that.
Well,
I forget.
Man, that random question sucked for me then, I guess.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Well, you can't even remember what I said either.
Well, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to remember your answers too?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're getting near the end of this episode, which went really fast because it was all about sports, which was fun. But do we want to get to the part where you say what you're thankful for?
Yeah.
All right. You want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Thank you for making me a delicious smoothie this morning with possibly collagen in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was delicious. Many strawberries
were
had in there. Yeah, I could feel powered up.
And half a banana.
Okay, well, I didn't know
shared the banana.
Okay, I didn't know it was in it, but it tasted delicious, and I appreciate it. And I was very thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did that on the back of, or on the heels of you doing the millions of dishes that we had. I was like, wow, I need to do something nice.
When you have a lot of dishes, when you kind of like make a secondary spot for them to dry, you kind of like put out like some paper towels. And
we have 2 sinks too. Yeah. So,
they piled up. I don't know what happened. I think there's like a dish fairy at night that just dirtying dishes. I don't know.
Well, you were saying too, I don't know if it was this time or the previous time. Well, I mean, you do them pretty much all the time, but you were like, why are there so many utensils? It was weird.
Yeah, we were out and stuff. I was like, I could have sworn. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
All right. Well.
Have a great week, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, and have a good one.
Good night. Bye.